Welcome to the Pampered podcast, where we are inspiring and encouraging women to love themselves as they are without shame or guilt, focusing on topics such as self-love, marriage and family, balance in life and business, and all things woman. Every week, we'll share inspirational topics that focus on helping you to overcome your struggles and limitations with lack of identity, low self-esteem, self-love, confidence, and so much more. I'm your host, Veronica, a wife, mom, speaker, entrepreneur, and more importantly, a daughter of the King. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Pampered Thoughts podcast. This is your host, Veronica, and I'm so glad you all have joined me today. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but it has been 3 years since my last podcast. And that should let you know that life has truly been lifing. And I'm sure life has been lifing for you all as well. But I am here today to let you know that we are starting back afresh, anew, and we have more new episodes coming that are going to lift you up, that are going to encourage you, motivate you, empower you to be able to be your best self, but also to be your best in God, because we are looking forward to what He has in store for us. And so today I want to talk about staying in your lane. I know you all have heard about staying in your lane, and I want to give a perspective about that, because over this past 3 years, I'm sure all have had some ups, we've had some downs, we've had some lefts, some rights, and things have probably, for some of you, have probably been just all over the place. But I want to send some encouragement today to help you guys stay focused about staying in your own lane. And so what I mean by that, and I know that you all have heard about it or have heard the terms before, but I want to tell a story, because y'all know that's how things happen for me. I tell stories and the Father just gives me a revelation from whatever happens in my life. He uses me first before I bring it all to you. And so today I want to tell a little story about when my husband and I, we were on a plane coming from, I want to say Missouri, coming back home to Florida. And while we were on the plane, I was just looking out the window. I had a window seat, and I noticed that our plane was going kind of slow. See, I'm sure we were going like thousands of miles per hour, but from my point of view, the plane was going super slow, and the clouds were moving super slow, and it almost looked like we were hardly going anywhere. And as I was looking out the window, I saw 2 other planes that were flying by us. One looks like we were going down southeast, I guess you would say. One plane looks like it was going maybe northwest, and then the other plane was just going west. But we were all in our own lane, our own air traffic lane. And what I noticed was that from my point of view, looked like we were going super, super slow. Like we were just floating along with no care in the world. But we were going to our destination. But the other 2 planes, one was going at a pretty decent kind of speed, where they looked like they were going faster than us because they kind of moved on along. But then the other plane looked like it was going super fast. And so I noticed, I said, now each one of us have a destination. And this is the revelation that I feel the Father has gave to me, is that we all have different journeys. We all have different destinations that we have to go to when it comes to serving God and pursuing His will for us. And even though my point of view, it looked like I was going super slow and I wasn't hardly going anywhere. But when I noticed those other planes, they were moving along. So to me, it looked like I wasn't moving. But when I looked at the other planes, they were going along and it looked like they were going to get to their destination faster. Now, keep in mind, I don't know where these planes were going. I don't know what their destination was. I had no idea who was on the plane, where their plane was destined for, what they were planning to do when they got to their destination. I had no idea. And even the people that was on the same plane with me, I had no idea what they were planning to do when we got to our destination, because we were going to the same place. We were on the same plane, but not all of us were going to end up in the same destination. And it made me think that a lot of times when we're following the will of Yah and we're following after and doing the purpose for the will of doing the purpose of God for our lives, that we can sometimes begin to look at others. For us, it may seem like we're not going anywhere. For us, it may seem like we're never going to get to where we're going, but we notice and we see others moving along. They're progressing, they're doing things, they're getting to their destination. And sometimes we can become discouraged, we can become depressed, and we can begin to become complacent or look like we're not going to get anywhere. And that can cause us to kind of fall back at times because we don't look like we're excelling. But I want to encourage you all today to not look at others in their destination and where they're going and what they're doing, what they're participating in. So I just want to give you 4 simple keys and 4 simple steps to help you stay in your lane. Because even though we're in different lanes, we're going to different destinations, and some may even be going to the same destination as you, but they have a different purpose from you. But I want to encourage you today to stay in your lane, and how you can stay in your lane, but then you can still progress. Because even though from my point of view, it looked like I wasn't going anywhere. It looked like I was going super slow, but I was still moving. I was still moving. And that's going to be the same way it is for some of you. On your point of view, it may look like you're not going anywhere. It may look like you're going super slow and that the steps that you're taking is not getting you to where you think you need to go or to the destination you feel like you're trying to go. But along that journey, you are still moving. You are still progressing. You are still going forth. You're just going at a different pace. And not all of us are going to go at the same pace as others. And so we have to stay in tune with the Father. And that's my first step my first key point is to do what God is calling you to do. Be obedient to what God has told you to do, the steps that he's told you to take. Because sometimes with me, my personal experience, being in ministry, being an entrepreneur, being a mother, a stay-at-home mother at that, a homeschool mom, a lot of times we can look at our journey, and especially for those of you who may be stay-at-home moms, because it seems as though what we're doing is not progressing, it's not moving, because we're home all the time, we're with the kids all the time. If you're a homeschool mom, you may be homeschooling and it seems like time is going by slow, that nothing is happening. But don't be discouraged, because if you are doing what the Most High has told you to do, you will see the fruits of your labor. You will see the fruit of your labor. And so when I say to be obedient to what God is calling you to do, a lot of times we can look at others and their blueprint and the things that they are doing. I don't know if you've ever heard of the shiny object syndrome, where you may be working on something, and this is heard in entrepreneurship a lot. You're working on something, but somebody else has this product or they have this service and things are taking off for them. Social media is big on the next thing, especially TikTok. If you've been on the TikTok, I know you've been and you've ordered something off of the TikTok shop because they said, oh, it's trending. It's the hottest new thing that's out and you want it. And so you get it, right? But if you stay focused on what the Most High is calling for you to do, what He expects for you to do, and you follow His plan, His blueprint, you will get to where you're supposed to go. Because a lot of times we can look at what others are doing and we feel like, oh, it's working for them. Even being a stay-at-home mom, even being a homeschool mom, we can look at what other moms are doing and we see their children progressing. We see things happening for them and we see that things are going in a good direction for them. And we can try to start maneuvering and changing stuff up to see if we get the same results. And it doesn't happen that way because God didn't tell us to do it that way. And so I want to encourage you for that first key point is to do what God is calling you to do. If you know that God has told you to quit your job and start a business, you quit your job and you start a business. If you know that God has told you to stay on your job and work a side business, then you stay on your job and you work a side business. If He's told you to stay on your job and don't start anything, do that, because whatever God is telling you to do, whatever the Most High is telling you to do, is what's going to be successful, is what's going to be prosperous for you, for your family, and for those that are attached to you. Because why? Each one of us have a different purpose. Each one of us have a different destination, a different journey that we have to take. So first key point is do what God is calling you to do. Be obedient to the steps that He is giving to you, because what may work for someone else may not work for you. It may not go the way that you planned it. So, not saying that you can't seek advice from others that are where you desire to be and they've already made it. Not saying you can't do that. You can do that. You can get advice, but don't let their advice overrule what God has told you to do, right? So the next thing is, don't compare yourself to others in their journey. Don't look at someone else's journey. I could have been in that plane riding along looking like we're going snail turtle speed. And I could have been getting jealous of those planes that were going the direction they were going and how fast they were going. And comparing our plane to their plane, saying, man, we ain't gonna never get to where we gotta go. Not realizing that they may have a whole different schedule that they have to meet. They may have, I don't know what could have been happening on those planes. And who's to say, God forbid, that nothing happened to those planes? We don't know. So we can't compare our journey, the things that we're doing, to others, because comparison, it slows you down. It causes you to become stunted in your progress and stunted in your growth. It's going to make you feel like you should be doing something more than what God has told you to do. And if God has not told you to start a business, your business is going to fail. If God has not told you to quit your job, you're going to be struggling financially because you've quit your job. If God has not told you to move across the country into a whole nother state, you're going to be struggling because you see others moving, you want to move too. No, it doesn't work like that. Don't compare your journey, your walk with someone else's, because it may not turn out the way you want it to turn out. If you stay focused on what God has called you to do, you will see and you will know that things will be successful if you keep Him first. You don't have to compare your journey with someone else's journey, because you're walking your journey. You're staying in your own lane. You're minding your own business. You're doing what God has told you to do, right? That's the second step. Second key point is, don't compare, because in comparing, you're going to always feel less than someone, or it's going to make you feel prideful and better than someone. And we're not supposed to be prideful. Yes, we can take pride in the things that we do because we can give glory to the Most High, that He gave us the talents, He gave us the gifts, He gave us everything that we need to succeed. But if we look at others to compare ourselves to them, that can cause us to get into a place of being prideful to the point to where we now think we're better than them, and we become judgmental, and we become self-righteous, and we feel like, oh no, they ain't got it. They ain't got it the way I got it. And that's not right. Because what does the Bible say? That pride comes before a fall. And if you're on the opposite end of comparing yourself to someone, you can start looking at others' life and you just don't do anything. And you feel like, man, I don't have any skills. I don't have any gifts. I don't have any talents. And I say that because I know I've been there. I've been to the point to where I felt like I was not creative. But I've done so many things, creating logos, websites, doing all kinds of things and all kinds of different businesses. At the time, I was a cake decorator for like 12, 13 years. Creating cakes, baking cakes, being an artist at what I do. But I was depressed in a state to where I felt like I wasn't creative. I had no bright ideas. That was because I was in a depressed state. And so that's not how the Most High wants us to walk around. He wants us to be confident in who He is in our life, confident in who He has created us to be. And when you are confident in who God has created you to be, you don't have to compare yourself to no one to make yourself look bigger than or lesser than someone else. So the second key point is to don't compare yourself to others. The third point is don't look at your past. I've been in a place at times where I've looked at the things that I've done in the past or did not do in the past, and I felt like, man, I feel like I should be further along. And some of you have probably been that way. Some of you have probably looked at your past and you've allowed regret to come about. It could be you getting married to the wrong person, or you having a baby when you felt like you shouldn't have had a baby, or you look at things that you may have done in your past where your parents may have been involved and you feel like it's your fault of things that have happened in your life, maybe abuse or whatever the case may be. You look at your past and you regret some of your decisions that you've made, whether you went to school or didn't go to school, whether you failed at certain projects that you were trying to do. No matter what it is, don't begin to look at your past. If you look at your past, look at it as a learning lesson and how you can move forward. Because looking at your past can be a hindrance to your progress. I've been there. I'm sure we all have been there. Looking at your past can cause you to live in regret. It can cause you to think about all of the things that you coulda, shoulda, woulda did, instead of being grateful for being in the present, but then also hopeful and prayerful about your future. Because whatever decisions you made, no matter what those decisions were, you are not your past. Your past is what has happened to you to form you into who you are today. And that today will help you determine what will be in your future. And a lot of times our past will be a testimony for our future because of the things that we've gone through, the things that we have done. It will be a testimony to how good the Most High is in our life, how good God is in our life, because we can look at Him and be thankful that He brought us to where we were, that He protected us, that He covered us, that He kept us. And we can be hopeful for our future. And whatever we do today in the present will help us to move forward and go forward in the future. We can start making new habits today. We can start practicing better decision making. We can practice putting boundaries in place when we've always been a people pleaser. Will we lose friends? Yes, we will. Will we lose family? Yes, we will. Because a lot of times when you are the one that pleases everyone and you want to make sure that there's no fights, no arguments, and you're that people pleaser, when you begin to set boundaries in place, People are not going to like that because now you've told them no and you've always been the yes woman. You've told them no, and what are you doing telling me no? You always do what I tell you to do. And because you don't do because you don't do what they tell you to do, they get upset. They get mad because you don't agree with them. And so they move along. They cast you to the side. But look, you're not alone because you got Christ. You have the Most High on your side. So when you are thinking about your today, when the Most High wakes you up in the morning and you begin to pray and take time, just be thankful that you are here today. Because guess what? You can be prayerful about your future. You can enjoy and be in the moment. You can be in the present and thank the Father. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for keeping me. Thank you for allowing people to reject me. Thank you for allowing my past to not overcome me, to not overtake me, and help me to move forward. Help me to heal from the hurt. Help me to heal from the trauma. Help me to heal from bad decisions. Help me to make better habits. Help me to begin to develop and grow spiritually, physically, mature in every area of my life. You can be hopeful for your future. So don't look at your past. When you're staying in your lane, you're not comparing yourself to others. You're not looking at your past because your past is going to make you start to compare yourself against others in their life. Why did I do this? I should have did this instead. I woulda, shoulda, coulda. But don't look at your past. You use your past as a learning lesson. If you chose that wrong boyfriend, that wrong friend, whatever, that wrong relationship, don't look at that as your past. Don't look at that as who you are. You made a bad decision. You made a mistake. You can move forward. And whatever consequences you have from that, learn from those and keep going. And it leads me to my last point, which is to don't lose focus. Keep your eyes on God. Keep your eyes on Christ, on the Most High. And don't lose focus. Keep your eyes on your target because there are many distractions in this world. Many distractions. You got social media. You got all kinds of things that will cause you to lose focus of where you're supposed to go. Now, going back to my story of being on the plane, if we lost focus, if our pilot, which who should be our pilot in our life? The Most High should be our pilot in our life. But if he lost focus, our pilot, and he decided to look at those other planes that passed by, and he wanted to go see where they were going and what they were doing, I wouldn't have made it to my destination. And a lot of times we can put ourselves in the pilot seat and we think that we're running the plane. We're flying the plane, or we're driving the car, or we're moving the bus. And we begin to lose focus and get distracted by all of these things that are happening around us. We lose faith and we think, oh, God's not going to come through for me. He's not going to come through and do what he said he was going to do. I got promises years ago and nothing ever happened. But if you stay the course, if you stay focused, if you let the pilot be the pilot, if you let the Most High be the Most High, be who he is, the creator of the universe, the creator of all things, then you will get to your destination. All you have to do is sit in the seat and wait. Wait patiently to get to your destination. Because even though it may have seemed, looking out the window from my point of view, that I was going super slow, we were going thousands of miles per hour, which to us in that position, it doesn't feel like it because you're just riding along, you're just floating along. And that's the same way in our life. A lot of times we will see ourselves moving slow and we think that we're moving slow, but in reality, the pilot, our God, the Most High knows that we're progressing along. He knows we're going to make it to our destination, and our going the journey that we're going to make it there on time, or sometimes early, right? Because sometimes you will get to your destination early when you're on a plane, but it may look like you're going slow to get there. You may hit a couple of bumps of turbulence along the way, but if you keep going, you'll get through those pockets of turbulence. You just have to stay focused. Don't get caught in distraction. If you have someone that's always coming to you to maybe start fights or to maybe cause any type of disturbance in your life, that's maybe one of them times you need to start putting those boundaries in place. If you have someone always coming with the need to want to fight, or the need to want to get you off course and to cause you to do things that when you know you should be focused on one thing, you're doing something else. Someone that's not cheering you on, someone that's not encouraging you, someone that's not motivating you. If you have those type of people coming in your life, it's time to start setting boundaries. If you've got yourself to a place to where you lost focus, even in your health, that's happened to me many a times, where I say, man, I need to get back on my health journey. And then I see some chicken wings and I want to eat. And I don't want the healthy chicken wings. I want the chicken wings that's been fried and sauced up real good, right? Or you may be a sweet person and you may see that donut and you just came from the gym. Not saying you can't have a cheat day here and there, but if you're trying to build a lifestyle of health and wellness, you got to stay focused. If you're trying to grow yourself spiritually, yes, you're going to want to sleep a little bit longer when God has told you to wake up a little bit earlier in the morning to pray or to read your word or to spend time with Him. Don't lose focus. Get up, pray for extra strength. Pray for extra strength to stay the course of your health journey. Pray for extra strength to get up a little bit earlier and spend time with the Most High. Pray for extra strength when you're going on that job and your boss is always on your back. Pray for extra strength. Pray for wisdom in starting that business. Pray for wisdom in running that business, working that side job, that side hustle. So you don't lose focus of your target, so you don't lose focus of your destination, and so that the Most High will be able to help you to get where you're supposed to go. The pilot is always going to make sure his plane lands at the proper destination. And let him be your pilot. You don't take his space. You don't take his job because you think you got it. Okay? So, thank y'all so much for joining me today. I want to encourage you all to stay in your lane. Do what God is calling you to do. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't pay attention or think about your past. And don't lose focus, right? So join me next week. We're going to be talking a little bit further and encouraging you more. If you have not followed us, please go and follow us. We now have a TikTok page. You can now listen to us on YouTube Music at Pampered Thoughts. You can go to our website, pamperedthoughts.com, to subscribe. Follow us on all the platforms. Give our podcast a rating and review on Apple Music, on Spotify, on all the different platforms, whatever platform you listen to. Give us a rating because we would appreciate it. We want to get the word out, share it with others. And I hope you guys are blessed. I hope that you enjoy your week. And until next time, stay pampered. Thanks for joining us this week on the Pampered Thoughts podcast. Be sure to visit us at www.pamperedthoughts.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or RSS, so you'll never miss a show. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Pampered Thoughts and on Twitter at I Am Pampered. As always, subscribe to the show to catch a new episode every week. And if you found value in the show, please leave a rating on iTunes and tell a friend about us. We want to continue to bring you the episodes you love. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, stay pampered.